I'd like to welcome everybody to the August 13th, 2014 Legal and Finance Committee for the City of Rapid City. The first order of business is the roll call and determination of a quorum.
Here.
Here. Thank you. Up next, we have the adoption of the agenda. Does anybody wish to have anything added to the agenda?
Move to adopt.
A motion by Nordstrom, second by Laurenti to adopt the agenda. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Up next is general public comment. Now is the time for members of the public to discuss or express concerns to the council on any issue not on the agenda. Action will not be taken at any meeting on any issue not on the agenda except for placement on the agenda by unanimous vote of the council members present. I currently have no speaker request forms for any general public comment. Does anybody wish to speak? None appearing. I'll move on to consent items numbers 1 through 13. I'm going to open up consent items 1 through 13 for comment. I currently have no speaker request forms for any of those items. Does anybody wish to speak on those items? I'm going to close public comment on items 1 through 13. Now I'll go to the council, see if anybody wants to remove any items in the numbers 1 through 13, and I have recognized Wade Nyberg, the attorney.
Number 13, I'd like you to pull. We don't have anything linked for that yet, and I'd ask that you just take it to council without recommendation.
Okay.
We're dealing with a deadline issue on that.
Item number 13 is hereby will be removed from the consent item. Anybody else? Entertain a motion to adopt items 1 through 12.
So second.
Motion by Laurenti, second by Nordstrom. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Motion carries. Item number 13 is an item to authorize mayor and finance officer to sign an amendment to loan and infrastructure development agreement between Rapid City and Dakota Heartland Inc. for a time extension. Entertain a motion to move consent council without consent.
So moved.
Motion by Laurenti, second by Drew. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we're on to items numbers 14 through 20, non-consent items. I have no speaker request forms on any items 14 through 20. Does anybody wish to speak on those items? Not appearing. I'm going to close public comment on items 14 through 20 and move to item number 14. Item number 14 is the resolution number 2014-073 of intent to take the statutory authorized increase in property tax revenue as part of the annual appropriation ordinance for 2015.
Move to deny.
A motion to deny by Laurenti, second by Weifenbach. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
No.
With one no from Nordstrom. Item number 15 is introduction and first reading of ordinance 599 regarding fiscal year 2015 appropriation ordinance, which is the budget ordinance for those of you watching. Any further, entertain a motion. Motion approved by Laurenti. Second by Drew. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 16 is real property tax abatement. Request for property tax abatement as follows from Tammy Eggmeyer. Refund of property taxes. And council recognizes Ron Weifenbach. Chair, I guess.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I have a question for city attorney on this item.
Sure.
My understanding is that this property was assessed with a full finished basement, but actuality was it didn't have a full finished basement?
I don't believe, anybody here knows?
According to the attachment, they did not. I guess I haven't been to the property, but the recommendation from the county is to deny the request.
I think Mr. Weifenbach still has the floor.
Then I just believe that if this was an error, and the county's error, and this people's basement wasn't fully finished and it was taxed as a fully finished property, then I think that they deserve to get a refund. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Darla Drew.
There we go. Yeah, Ron, I also read that, and that they were assessed as having a fireplace, which they did not have. So there were some mistakes there on the assessment.
Chair recognizes Richie Nordstrom.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pauline, can you kind of clarify the point about, I believe I asked you a question about the precedent this would be setting, and I understand it's not setting a precedent if we approve this request?
I don't know that it would be setting a precedent. I do know that typically the council has in the past gone with whatever the recommendation of the county is. If you read the county's memo, the reason why they don't think that it's proper is because they should have gone through the equalization process like other people do. And that is actually, in my understanding, she did actually do that for in March of this year, she was actually on the list. And because of the discrepancies, they did lower her value. That was the recommendation, to lower her value in the future. But she should have, all the years, according to their recommendation to deny, should have been in before now to argue with the value of the home.
So wouldn't it be more appropriate if this was moved to or recommended to go to the Board of Appeals?
At this point, it's already been to the Board of Appeals, where in the future they will have the assessment correct.
Yep.
But because she is looking for a refund, this is the only avenue she has at this time.
Understand. Thank you. Yield the floor.
Chair recognizes Alderman Steve Laurenti.
Thank you, Chair. And that was my understanding as well, that generally speaking, from my experience here on the dais, that we have followed the county's recommendation, especially since if the reverse were true, I don't think that we would be requiring the citizen to back pay all of the extra. If the reverse were true, that this member had some things that weren't covered under the assessment that would have increased the assessment. So therefore, that's why we've always gone with the recommendation of the county. So I yield.
Well, it's the most ever agreed with Steve Laurenti on anything. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
What's the motion?
What was the motion is to deny by Laurenti, I thought. Oh, was there no second? Second by Drew, excuse me, pardon me, I thought we had a motion. Motion is to deny the abatement, or the refund, I guess. There's a second by Darla. Second by Darla. Okay, I thought you already seconded it the first time, so my apologies. Anyway, the motion is to deny the refund. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye. No.
Motion carries with one no from Weifenbach. Item number 17 is introduction and first reading of ordinance 6001, amending provisions concerning the general provisions of subdivisions by amending chapter 16.04 of 090 of the Rapid City Municipal Code. Motion approved by Laurenti, second by Weifenbach. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 18 is appeal by Richard Bray of Historic Preservation Commission's recommended denial of roofing permit at 1116 South Street. Motion to deny by Nordstrom, second by Weifenbach. Any further discussion? Chair recognizes Darla Drew.
Just so I understand this, you are denying the appeal to
That-
recommend denial of the, I don't understand.
I believe the motion is to deny the appeal. Is that correct, Mr.?
That's correct.
So that they could go ahead with the roofing?
No, it's to uphold the Historic Preservation's ruling.
Okay,
Is that
thank you. I just needed that clarification.
okay? Any further discussion?
Thanks, Darla.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 19, second reading and recommendation of ordinance 6005 to establish a community investment committee by adding section 2.24090 of the Rapid City Municipal Code. Motion approved by Laurenti, second by Nordstrom. All in favor say aye. Motion carries. Item number 20 is second reading of recommendation of ordinance 6006 to establish a strengthening families committee by adding section 2.24.100 of the Rapid City Municipal Code. Motion approved by Nordstrom, second by Drew. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Motion carries. Motion adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Motion adjourned by Nordstrom, second by Weifenbach. All in favor say aye. We are adjourned.